Hi everyone. I'm just doing a quick little hello, how you going? And my external hard drive broke, so I've just had a bit of a hell of a time. I've lost photos, 5 or 6 years worth of photos, and I'm hoping I can get data recovery to fix it. So I did start this video with footage of me doing the stitches for casting off for my cowl that I was knitting. So I'm starting very late. Yeah, I'm just showing you the end result in the end. Stuff happens. That's how it goes. Okay, hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Bye for now. All right, so I have finished. I've finished the cast off. I've actually woven back in my loose ends. So that's the inside and this is the outside. So this is how the scalloped edges ended up looking. It's just prettied it up a little bit, so I'm quite liking it. It is, see how wide it is? And that's because I had to add like probably about that much extra. But because I'm a fairly loose knitter, it means that I can double it over and it's like that. It's like a you know, skivvy or a polo neck. So I might, if I'm brave and if I actually get a good photo, I'll insert one here of me wearing it. So that's a project finished. Yes, excellent. Now, my next project, so I think that I wanted to show you my stamps that I ended up making for Roxy's weekly challenge. And I'd already talked about how thick they were. And how I had stamped them and they'd got a really very grungy look. I like it. I'm not at all fussed about it. And here is the bits and pieces that were left over that I put onto a panel just to see what happened. I'm going to go and get some kids foam. And I also made this, but I haven't stamped that. So I stamped this one. This is my sketchbook, what I'm up to. I just couldn't get, when I was putting this is what I've been using, you know, I was doing this, I just realised that all the surfaces were up and down. So anyway, it's all right, it's okay, it's a sketchbook, it's fun to have a play, see, you know, see what you come up with. I didn't put much ink on that one at all, but see, that's the sort of effect I'm getting, which is not good enough. So then I thought, well, I've got this little flowery stamp. I'll just put some of those in this was in so that's the aged mahogany. And I just put some of these in the hickory smoke. So they're not over the top. Then I used a grey texture pen, to fill in some of the negative spaces, and then I just added a bit of colour with the same set of pens, and so that's how that's ended up. So I'm not really thinking this isn't worthwhile, because for some reason, even though it's the same bit of this stuff, if you press down it changes its height. So some of these smaller ones in here somehow seem to have been pressed down and they're not picking up with the ink. So great idea, but a bit of a fail. So it might be better with, you know, if you were lino cutting. So I could actually take, if I like it, I don't know that I like the design anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much, but I could have taken the design, if I really loved it, and cut it from a lino print, but I didn't. Now what was I just, oh yes, that's right. So here's my bit of hessian that I did put on. not sure how this is going to work, but sometimes it's a bit of a test, and that's all right. We'll be getting inked. So even that looks like the middle isn't getting too much ink on it, but let's see how it looks. So a weekly challenge is for that, making mistakes, finding out what works, what doesn't work, maybe coming up with a nice little mark making tool. I really love that. I'm happy with that. You know, obviously over time these will wear off, but I'm happiest with this and happiest with maybe this one. Love this one. You can see the ink pad is actually quite wet, so there's no excuse for not having enough ink on. Love that. It is fun. So I'm looking forward to grabbing a bit of kiddie foam sometime. Hopefully this week. Oh, I should have got it while I was over near the shop that I know has it. But anyway, never mind. And doing some jelly printing, because I haven't done, and it was so much fun watching Rachel doing it, and I haven't done any jelly printing myself, and I've got my own jelly plates that I made. So I think I'll just do a one episode with those, because then I can link in the recipe video, the video for the jelly plates. So moving along, Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. I showed you what I was up to. I finished my seat. I'm pretty sure I showed you the finished seat. Where's it gone? There it is. The finished seat. I'm pretty sure I did show you. Oh, I haven't. Where's the hairdryer? Alright, I haven't heated it to get these bits off. I'll do that. Now, I'm thinking for the next prompt, which is a pond or a fountain. Well, I did a fountain in my winter journal, so I do want to do a pond. So I'm thinking just here could have a pond. And what I'm thinking of is grabbing a bit of a blue material and cutting it out and tucking the ends under to applique it on. So that's what I'll be doing next. All right, just raided my cupboard and found this, and I'm just going to have a look. I'm noticing I've got fairly muted colours throughout. It's not a strong palette, but this does match the butterflies, and also it can be over, you know, over sewn. So this is a, so don't laugh, I know I get stuff from the op shop, but, and I know last year I used a lot of Huss's old bed sheets and shirts for things, but this was from the guy next door who handed me a bag to take to the op shop, and I found that there were all these great little bits of shirts and t-shirts that it's sort of like a thick warm t-shirt material. So like that's a sleeve, which I've cut down to put them all into piles. And I find it a bit amusing, all these guys giving me their clothes for the op shop, and I use them. Recycling, I say. Anyway, so look at the shape I've decided. I can freehand. This is just a rough guide. It doesn't need to be. Look at my good scissors. Trusty good scissors that are so sharp that I have been known to cut myself with them before. Now, let's see. how that comes round there. That's a bit around the edge of the thing. Where am I? Here. Like there could be maybe 2 sides to this. Actually, I'll use my little scissors. I can't manoeuvre in around there. So just make it longer than I need, and then I might be able to fine detail it. All right, I want it there. So I'm going to pin it on. And round it off while it's on here. I like round edges on a pond, rounded edges, but I am going to be tucking them under, so here we go. Okay. Maybe let's have it go all the way down to the bottom of the piece, the edge. I do like the idea of putting a frog in. Okay, here we go. Let's get this out of the way. Here's my little pond. Now I need a fine needle. Probably need that. And what thread have I got close by? Oh dear, definitely a bit. I should do a frog for my frog in my throat today. I just came back from staying at a place for 8 nights to mind a little gorgeous little cat. He was a lovely little cat. But he would wake me up at 4 a.m, 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. and I got a bit sick of that, so I had to shut the bedroom door. And in that time, I don't know, but I feel that she'd sprayed something in the room before, like, you know, like a Mortine or something for fleas or something for the cat or whatever. So having the door shut meant that I didn't have as fresh air as I would have liked, and I feel like it just kind of, I'm so sensitive to stuff, it just kind of affected my immune system. So got the old cough happening. I'd rather someone sprayed than had bed bugs though, if that's the case, because tell you what, I'm allergic to them. Don't know anyone else that's allergic to bed bugs. But if I get bitten by a bed bug, I have a 12 to 24 hour period where at some point I'll black out and get really severe diarrhea. So that's how the allergy is for me. It's more the blacking out that's the worry. But now I've had it happen a couple, like maybe 3 times, and so now I know if I get a particular bite that welts up a particular way, I know it's probably a bed bug, and I know that the next. So say if I'm bitten in the afternoon or the evening, I know generally the next lunchtime to afternoon to just be careful, because I had it happen when I was on holiday and didn't realise, and I was in the middle of Kew Gardens in London and I was I felt not so well, so I could go to the cafeteria and get something like a drink or whatever and go to the toilet. So sorry, the poo talk, but I then went for a little walk and I just collapsed, but I collapsed under a tree, and I just thought, oh well, it's just like having a little nap, really. Have a nap under a beautiful elm tree in the gardens. It's always surprising to me, no one ever notices that's what's going on. Like, no one says, are you okay? Because they don't notice. They think, oh, she's just having a little nap under the tree. Well, one of the hazards of going holidaying on your own all the time, I guess. Anyway, I feel like I just didn't deal very well. It's like, as we get older, our liver works so hard, and if you have some chemicals around you, it's like the liver's going, come on, come on, working too hard. Anyway. So I hope everyone liked the last video with the Alexander McQueen clothing. Gosh, it was good. What else has been happening? Not much else. Had a massive fight with Huss, which is part of the reason why we didn't stay together, I guess. But I ran into his sister and grandchild, who I'd never met. And the fight we had was not so much of a fight, just a bit of I don't know. I just think sometimes it was the language difficulties. English was his 4th language, so that's not his fault, and I did try really hard. But the one thing that upset me was never meeting his kids or his grandchild, and it's a cultural thing. And he did his best, but when he realised that I really wanted to meet them and that it was an insult not to meet them, he tried to get them to meet me, and they actually, so what came out in the fight is that they actually, because they were loyal to their mum, didn't want to meet me. And I thought, well, what if we'd have got married? You would have had to meet me sooner or later then. So anyway, it just brought up the whole thing again, and the reason that I called the relationship off. Just those cultural differences that you try to get over. Yeah, too hard basket. So brought it all up yesterday, and then just to do the opposite polarity, because sometimes you're just looking at in your life what works, what doesn't work, what's good, what's bad, etc. I said to Mikey, the flatmate, said to him, oh, hey, I just want to make a roast sometime this week. And the night before he'd said to me, oh, do you want to do the roast tomorrow night? So I know not to go having a beer with the boys at work, because he's a tradie. And and he said, and then on Friday I'll do a bit of a barbecue. I'll get some T-bone steaks or whatever from this fabulous butcher that he found that he loves. And we'll do that Friday. some mashed potato. So I made a roast last night. I got one of the butterflied chickens. You know how you can get it's got the bones taken out? Oh, it's so good, and it's so much easier to eat, I tell you. I'm not tucking in these ends underneath. I'm going to be probably putting a bit of greenery there. So much easier to eat, and then you don't have all the bones to chuck out either in your rubbish bin. Anyway, I found one with, and I made even though I was doing a roast, it ended up being a Jamaican spice rub on it. And oh my goodness, we both thought it was the best thing ever. And we had this lovely dinner and this lovely chat, and I went, you know what? It's like cheese and chalk. It's like we're just nattering on about all sorts of things, and we understand each other, and there's not language. Oh, I shouldn't complain. I mean, but gee, well, we had such a nice dinner and a nice night, you know. God, my life, what is it? Anyway, you feel better. Like, you have a fight with someone and you just go, this is not how I want my life to be. And then you have a really nice dinner and you talk about your families and, you know, you get to know each other a bit, and everything flows and it's smooth and nice, and you just go, this is a gift, you know. This is wonderful. It's such a gift. And I just don't want to have someone around that I'm fighting with. Oh, sorry, that's a bit of a like, Rachel was just talking about that herself in the last Roxy's, and I agree. If someone's, even if you're both trying to make something work, but you just misunderstand each other all the time, it's just too hard. It's stressful, and for me it brings up a lot of anxiety. So last night was just a great dinner and really lovely time. Here we go. Here's my little pond, and it needs some. Right, so I need to start doing some greenery around it. Bulrushes. Let's put some bulrushes in. Got some brown. That'll work. This blue's dark. What else do we need? Greens. Here's a nice green. Oh, that's a nice green too. I like that. So what I was doing when I thought I ran into, might not have even been his daughter and his granddaughter, but they looked like it, and also she said the granddaughter's name and it was the same name. Anyway, I was at the op shop, and I just got one jumper and one dress, because at changing seasons you just, you know, got to have a few other things. I'm going to just do some long, thin, reedy things here by the side, just to disguise the edge a bit. Yeah, they had sort of a 30% off women's, or I thought they did. I got there and I think I had the wrong day. I think it's next Wednesday, not yesterday, which was Wednesday. Didn't matter. I think I was meant to go there, and I think all of that was meant to happen as a reminder to me of what doesn't work and does work for me. Ow, stabbing myself there. So yeah, I didn't, I think it upset me so much I tried on a couple of dresses and a couple of jumpers and stuff, and then was just too upset to have a little bit of a squiz in the, tablecloth and tea towels sort of area, unfortunately. Here we go. Done some reeds. One of the things I've noticed with this piece that I didn't want to make a very big, large one because I just had made my big winter journal and I thought that was pretty large. But I am noticing that I've got to do everything kind of smaller, which is okay because it's a, it's a learning curve, the little bird and everything. Oh, I like that. That's really a good effect. So that was with three bits of floss, embroidery floss. So I'll keep doing that a bit. Lovely project. It's coming along nicely. I can start to see things. What I was going to say was the thing about doing it so small, even though the butterflies and the birds have worked out quite well, is that I'm thinking the size of the frog, if I'm going to do a frog here, the size will be quite, it'll be like a speck in the middle of the pond. I guess I could just make but nothing else is in proportion, so maybe it doesn't matter. I think that I might do even just little short rushes around the edge here. Just scatter them around. Maybe some a bit up over the path a bit. Just defining the edge a bit. Anyway, I did go to the acupuncturist the other day because I'd been feeling a bit under, just kept getting headaches, and then my nervous system felt all shot because of sleeping maybe in a room with chemicals. Why do people do it? And he said he went up to New South Wales for the weekend, so he went up to Sydney for the weekend, and everyone in Sydney had this terrible barking cough because of course here now we're getting towards winter. That's what's going to happen. Everyone gets sick. I think so there's something going around in Sydney, and then now there's something going around down in Melbourne because he says all his clients have something. It's normal for the change in the weather. Just make a wibbly wobbly one there off to the side because they're not all super straight all the time, are they? Bulrushes or whatever these are. Oh, I know, I'm going to put a lily flower in. That'll be nice. A lotus flower. That will be nice. I'll have to go and find out how to do it. Might as well have a peaceful garden. So anyway, you know, you get the gist of what I'm doing, and I will continue with that. Think about the lotus flower and then come back near the end. All right, I've just popped in to do a little quick look at what I've done next, and also to quickly get in before the guy starts chainsawing outside again. So I've put some little rocks. I've put French knots all around the bottom here, a few more reeds. So that's as far as I got with that, and I finished the bulrushes. But I got out, so the rocks were made out of this tea towel I got from the op shop. And I have, this is a Kirsten Heb design. So I've got a couple of things off her. Just this little table and a tree. I don't know whose design this is, but I've got this that's got all the little woodland animals on. So I thought I'd cut a couple of those out. So I've got the raccoon. I'm going to put that on. I've got a little squirrel. I've got the rabbit and a flower and a butterfly. Then I've got the Kirsten Heb again. Oh, so the rabbit and the butterfly is the Sophia Drescher. So the Sophia Drescher and the Kirsten Heb are both material I've bought from Lisa Matic. And I've got a little hedgehog here. And I've got the little fox. So they're the things I'm going to be doing this week behind the scenes, and hopefully finding something for my little pond. So I hope you've enjoyed this week. The knitting took up a fair amount of time, and I'll be back next week. And I think that I've finally worked out that these videos are going to be for me it's Saturday afternoon, evening. So there'll be one a week. That's what it'll be. One a week for Saturday afternoon, evening, which will be most places in the world Saturday mornings. So you've got all weekend to watch. All right, well, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.